For this next portion of our video training, I have pulled a clip from the directory of the White Sands Connect portal. Thus, what you are seeing here in this next portion of the lesson on the resident and team directories will not be your community unless you live at White Sands. Do not fret, it is okay, because the functions of the directory work the same across the communities. Only the faces, which will be blurred anyway, will not be visible. I'm doing it this way because for legal and privacy reasons, I cannot show residents' faces. Ready? All right, here we go. Here we are, still on the main page of the Informations Cube. What you're seeing here is the Informations Cube for White Sands, but it should look pretty much the same for your community as well. At the top of the page on this cube, we can find access to the resident directory and the team directory. The resident directory is where you can find names and information for residents at your community. And the team directory is where you can find names and information for team members at your community. Let's start first with the resident directory. To view the directory, we click or tap where it says Resident Directory. After a moment, the screen loads and the resident directory is visible. You'll notice on my screen up here, the faces are blurred. You can't actually see the residents on this page. When you're searching and view the resident directory, you won't have that problem. Again, I just did this for legal and privacy reasons. Once inside the resident directory, we're going to see residents listed by last name first. In some cases, you may see a resident without a photo and without a name. There are two possibilities for this. One, it could be that this is a resident who, for their own personal privacy reasons, chose not to be shown in the resident directory. Or two, it's that this person is a short-term resident. We have a couple options for finding a resident in the resident directory. Firstly, we could scroll down the page and just look for the resident we want to find. Remember that this page is sorted by last name first. Alternatively, we could use the search bar or a filter to find a specific resident. We can find the search bar and the filter back at the top of the page of the resident directory. Let's talk about the filter first. On my screen, to the right of the search bar, I have the option for all. This is a filter. We can change or adjust the filter, and in computing, a filter acts just like your coffee filter. When using a filter, only certain things are allowed to pass through. So by default, we're viewing all residents in all levels of living. For iPhones and iPads, instead of seeing the word all, you'll see all roles. So for iPhones and iPads, all roles is your filter for levels of living. To search for a resident in a particular level of living, click or tap where it says all or all roles, depending on what you see, and make your selection. This will now act as a filter, removing everyone as an option that is not in this level of living. For my example, I'm going to keep the filter to all. So when I search for a resident by name or apartment number, I will be looking through all levels of living. For some communities, this is the only filter, levels of living. But by the end of 2022, all communities will have access to another filter, interests. Here's what it'll look like when you have interests available as a filter. It'll show up to the right of all. With this filter, interests, we can find residents that may share common interests with us. All we have to do is click or tap all interests and scroll through the list to select an interest. There are tons of interests to choose from. You can click an interest and then it will show you those residents that are also interested in that topic. In order for this to work, however, you as an individual and your other residents have to complete their profile and fill out their interests. We have another training video on this process available. So perhaps after watching this video training, you watch the training on editing your profile to learn how to add your interests and become searchable in the directory by interest. Last reminder, this may not yet be available in your community, but by the end of 2022, it will be. To search for a resident by name or apartment, click the text box to the left of all. On iPhones and iPads, it is above all. And then type a name. As you type, the results will begin to filter based on the letters that you have typed in. For my example, I'm going to search the name Donald, looking for Donald Duck, who is not actually a resident at White Sands. After typing the name, we can see the search results. When you find the resident that you are looking for, you can click or tap their name or where it says View Profile. The screen will change. And now we can see that resident's profile. It'll be a larger view of their image, and we'll be able to see their phone numbers, their apartment numbers, their emails, if listed. We also have the opportunity to chat from here, but we'll learn about that in future lessons. It's important to note that viewing this page is a little bit simpler when using an iPhone or an iPad. We can actually see more about this resident if they've chosen to add any information to their public profile section within Community Connect. On the computer version, what I see up here, I have the option to click About. And then I can see any of the public information that this resident chose to add about themselves. For iPhone and iPad users, this will automatically show up on the profile. You do not have to click it separately. To leave this page on my version, I look for the X located in the top right corner of this window. I click the X and I will be taken back to the resident directory where I searched for Donald. For iPhone and iPad users, you want to hit the word cancel to the right of your search bar. Now we have to clear out our search. So we want to click or tap the search bar and delete the text of the name we searched for. And we'll be taken back to the full resident directory. Here we can hit the back arrow where it says information to be taken back to the main page of the information cube on computers, or we can hit done for iPhone and iPad users, also located in the top left. Now here we are back to the main page of the information cube, where we can find both the resident directory and the team directory. Let's move on to the team directory, which works very similarly to the resident directory. We'll start by clicking or tapping where it says Team Directory. After a moment, the screen loads and the team directory is visible. Just like the resident directory, once inside the team member directory, we're going to see team members listed by last name first. We have a couple of options for finding a team member in the directory. Firstly, we could scroll down the page and just look for the team member we want to find. Alternatively, we could use the search bar back at the top of the page of the team directory. Currently, your team members are working hard to input and update all the team member data. So although you may not see many photos now, that should change in the future. You'll also be able to search not only by name, but by typing in a role, such as dining or maintenance. That feature should also be up and running in the future. Right now, I'm just going to search by name. We'll start by clicking or tapping the text box at the top of the page. As you type, the results will begin to filter based on the letters that you have typed into the text box. For my example, I'm going to search the name Gary, looking for Gary Borriero, Executive Director of White Sands. After typing the name, we can see the search results below. When we find the team member that we're looking for, we can click or tap their name or where it says View Profile. The screen will change and now we can see that team member's profile. It'll show a larger view of their image, and we will be able to see their phone numbers and emails if listed. We also have the opportunity to start a chat from here, but we'll learn more about this in future lessons. It's important to note that viewing this page is a little bit simpler when using an iPhone or an iPad. You can actually see more about this team member if they've chosen to add any information to their public profile section within Community Connect. On the computer version, what I see up here, I have the option to click About, and then I can see any of the public information that this team member chose to add about themselves. However, for iPhone and iPad users, this will automatically show up on the profile. You don't have to click About separately. It just shows up. As you'll notice, not every resident or team member chooses to add any information in the About section of their public profile. To leave this page, on my version, I'll look for the X located in the top right corner of this window. I can click the X and I'll be taken back to the team member directory where I searched for Gary. For iPhone and iPad users, you want to hit the word cancel to the right of your search bar. Now we have to clear out our search box. We want to click or tap the search bar and delete the text of the name we searched for. And we'll be taken back to the full team member directory. Here we can hit the back arrow where it says information to be taken back to the main page of the information cube on computers. iPhone and iPad users can hit done, also located in the top left, to be taken back to the main page of the information cube. And that's it. We're back to the main page of the information cube. Now we can go back to the home page by hitting home at the top of the menu for computer versions, or hitting home at the bottom of the screen for iPhone and iPad users. If you're following along, you'll see the home page of your Community Connect portal and not the White Sands page, unless you actually live at White Sands. Thank you so much for watching. Rewatch as much as you need to, and check back for more training videos soon. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.